Now, as many of you know, I've just brought a tube amplifier to market, the Gallion TS120. But if I were to design a solid-state amplifier, it would be like the Buchardt I150. Imagine for a moment I give you a magic lamp with 3 wishes. But the last wish must be an amplifier. So, after wishing for $1 billion and good health, what would you wish for in an amplifier? I know I will wish for. Let me think. Number 1. Must sound good at high volume and low volume. Number 2, must not be heavy so I don't get hernia, and it has to run cool. Number 3, works great in all kind of rooms. Number 4, high spousal approval factor. Your significant other will love you. Number 5, easy and intuitive to use. Number 6, have a great, nice, solid remote. Number 7, upgradable and flexible. Number 8, Bluetooth. Number 9, equalizer for fine-tuning the sound. And number 10, high power. And number 11, a built-in coffee maker. So when I look at the Buchardt I150, I cannot but feel envy and perhaps a bit jealous of what Buchardt has accomplished. From a humble small company selling a few speakers a month to what it is today. I know they are known for their speakers, and there might be some doubt whether they can make a good amplifier. I hope today's video will give you a better idea of how capable this amplifier is. The Buchardt I150 is a solid-state integrated amp with everything built in. I think the only thing missing is, I don't know man, a built-in microwave so you can use it to warm your food while listening to music. It is priced at €2,500 and that includes everything. Customs and shipping. I myself have stolen, I have adopted this model because I like the hassle-free, peace of mind customer service model. Everything included. The amplifier has a Class D N-core module and is rated at 150 watt into 8 ohms. It has Bluetooth, ES9028 Pro DAC. It has 2 power supply, a linear power supply for the preamp, SMPS for power amp. It has 1 line input, 1 preamp output, and dual subwoofer output. It even has room correction. And the remote uses radio waves, so you can go anywhere and it'll still work. It has a very minimalistic, stylish design and a chassis that feels expensive when you touch it. Okay, can you think of anything it is missing? Now, before we begin, please check out my latest Gallion video where I talk about amplifier safety. Have you ever worried your amp would catch fire and blow up? Does it have proper certification? In that video, I'll share with you my conversation with Buchardt regarding amplifier certification, and you should consider this before buying your next stereo gear. Any stereo gear, not just amplifiers. So, how does the Buchardt I150 sound? The first second when I powered this up, I was like, man, it sounds really smooth. Not rolled off, but rather that lack of harshness, kind of smoothness. Remember I said it uses Class D N-core amp? Now I have those kind of amps at my home, and for Buchardt to make the I150 sound so smooth, I mean, they must added extra butter to it. It is refined yet detailed. I mean, this is really impressive. Lots of clarity, and I personally find a bit of warmth in the mid-range compared to other Class D. Now, I'm not saying it's a warm sounding amp, but relative to other Class D setup I've listened to, a bit more. The bass has enough dynamics. It's more than what I expected from a Class D amp. Good soundstage and instrument separation. Now, overall, I would say the I150 has a clean, polite, non-aggressive presentation. So let's start with the negatives. Now, okay, so sitting at 6 feet away, I get 85 dB at 90% volume. That's with the Buchardt S400. That probably means I'm getting 100 dB if I measure it 1 feet away. So far, Buchardt has told me no one has complained about the volume. Next, don't put anything on the unit. It might interfere with the remote. Finally, out of all my friends, I am the only one who is unable to connect to the unit with my phone once in a while, maybe 3 times. And each time I needed to do a reset to connect back again. Now, who knows, man? Maybe the I150 just doesn't like Huawei phones. because none of my audio buddies had that issue. So let's move on to the positives. The amplifier sounds great at low volume, meaning if you're somebody who lives in an apartment and can only listen at whisper volumes, then this is for you. It even has a setting for low volume listening. I think it's like a fancy term for like the same principle as loudness button. Next, when I say it sounds smooth, I was not joking. I mean, you will not get listening fatigue with this amp. Extra smooth, buttery top end. We tried it on speakers from the 80s with ribbon tweeters that has so much sharpness that it will cut your ears, and the I150 had no problem handling it. Next, you can fine-tune the sound with an equalizer, so for the impossible chance that you still find it too bright, you can still fix it. However, I seriously think you should get your ears checked if you find this I150 too bright. Next, the product feels like a polished, finished product. They pay attention to all the little things. For example, the remote, when you pick it up, it'll light up. The phone app is very intuitive, and you can easily integrate your subwoofer with the help of the app. And there's a lot of little things like this that makes it feel like a finished product. Now, I know this is an integrated amp, but for me, the real strength is the preamp. You see, I know that Class D Encore sound. So when I first heard it with the Buchardt and it sounded so smooth, I told myself, man, the preamp must kick ass. Guess what? Buchardt told me 80% of the money you're paying for is pretty much for the preamp. It has a dedicated linear power supply. You seriously can use this I150 as a high-end preamp. So let me tell you a story, okay? Here I have the $15,000 Apertura Edena. Fantastic speaker, but it does need a bit of work to get it to sound heavenly. So here I have this $7,000 Synthesis KT88 monobloc. I paired it with my Exasound E28 DAC, my Burmester 897, which has an MSRP of $7,000. Now, I expected that combo to sound really good because, you know, I'm so used to these gear. But guess what? The combo sounded meh with the Apertura Edena. I mean, it sounded okay, but not for a $30,000 setup. However, when I swapped the Exasound E28 and the Burmester with the Buchardt I150 and used the I150 as a preamp, the Apertura sounded amazing, worthy of its high-end speaker status. The smoothness of the I150 complemented really well with the Apertura. Over the last few months, I did bring the I150 around to my audio buddy's place. Everyone thought it was good, but it's too bad I never asked anyone to use it just as a preamp because it is another level when you use it as a preamp. Now, for those of you who don't like Class D because it might sound too clean, you know what? You can plug your Class A or Class AB amp to it. If you buy this I150 and decided in the future that you want to upgrade, you know what? There's flexibility. You just need to buy a better power amp and plug it to it. To beat this preamp, you probably will need to go above $4 or $5,000 to decisively beat this preamp even then. Especially if you're somebody who likes a really smooth presentation. So in the comments, what is or was the best integrated amp that you have ever owned? The perfect integrated amp, what must it have for you? Let me know. Do you think the Buchardt I150 ticks all the boxes? So let's end the video at this point. One thing I try to do whenever I get something in for review is to test it at different locations with different speakers. Here, let me put up a few photos of where I tested it. The goal is to get real world experiences and different opinions. The feedback I've gotten was very positive from all my audio buddies. No, it does not replace their $10,000 to $20,000 system, but I do have an interesting story to share. So at the beginning of this video, I said, wouldn't it be nice to have an amplifier that will work well in any room? Well, one of the I150's strength is that it has room correction. Now, for many of us, it's impossible to treat our room because, you know, that's life. Until you try room correction, it is hard to believe that it can have a significant impact. Let me emphasize, a significant impact on the sound. So one of my audio buddies, Mr. 707, I call him that because he owns a pair of Polk Audio 707, he recently moved to a bigger condo. Beautiful place. The listening room is now a few times bigger compared to his old condo, and what he noticed is that he lost a lot of his bass, and for someone who like him who likes to listen at low volume at night, his system now sounds a bit thin. His system is no joke. Macintosh D100 DAC, Audio Research LS25 2 preamp, Class A D200 power amp, MSRP of over 10 grand when it was new. Pretty decent. It sounded really good at his old place, but because the Audio Research and Class A are very neutral, it was too neutral sounding at his new place. So for months, he has been trying to fix this problem. The other day, I went to Toronto. I dropped off the I150 at his place, to let him play with it for a few days. Guess what? He told me the room correction solved his problem. All this time, he was trying to get his setup to sound warmer without success. The Buchardt app showed him his room's problem and corrected it. He ran this correction software for all his 3 speakers, including the Manapan LRS. He now got back that warmth that he felt lacking. He also told me, all for his listening needs, man. This Buchardt amplifier can replace his fancy Macintosh Audio Research Class A. One thing. He also liked the low volume listening setting because he lives in a condo, right? So for those who might be in a similar situation as him, the I150 might be the solution you're looking for. So that's it for this week. Alright, if you want to know how sharp Mr. 707 was when he tested the Galleon TS120, go check out my other channel. A very interesting story there. And I guess that's it then for this week. And I'll see you next time. Give me a like if you like the stories. And, excuse me, until next time.